I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, May the 6th, my oldest daughter Savannah's 21st birthday. Brought to you in part by Normycin by Norbrook. Normycin 300 LA is a proven go-to antibiotic for a broad spectrum of cattle diseases and infections. Visit with your animal health supplier or go to norbrook.com for more information. We had a board reprieve from the sharp losses that we've been seeing really for the last 3 weeks or so on your cattle. It made people feel a little bit better. It didn't help our cash market at all anywhere, but it did kind of let the pressure off our neck for just a minute there. But I tell you what, we're really facing a tough battle. Your corn was still higher, and beans too, especially for new crop, and that may be even a little bit scarier. But your cattle, both feeder cattle and live cattle futures, were higher. We look out at what goes on out there. Your southern plains is holding out for cattle, so now they're actually trading at a premium to the northern plains, although the northern plains is still tighter on cattle. The southern plains guys are fighting off the urge to basis jump, and they're holding out for more money, which in turn there has been hardly any trade in the southern plains because your packers are just being that stubborn and don't want to give in. We're excited about Monday's meeting of truce. I've been talking about here all week, finding more and more about that every day. I was on a conference call, which I'm active with U.S. Cattlemen's Association, kind of getting beefed up and pep talked into getting something done there, and excited about working with some of the other organizations that are going to be there. I found out that LMA is bringing in Joe Goggins as a representative for them. That is fantastic. If you know Joe Goggins or you know who he is, then you know how good that could be for this meeting. And like I say, you may not know Joe Goggins, but you've probably seen him on video selling, auctioneering off some of the highest purebred bulls that we've ever sold in this country. But he is a very successful, very passionate, very energized person in this industry. Owns Pays and Billings Livestock Commission. He comes from a legacy of active members in the cattle industry. His father, Pat, kind of opened the gates for people like me to come and speak our minds, although he did it on a typewriter back in the old days with his Western Journal. But I tell you what, Joe Goggins has carried on that legacy, and he's very energetic. And I tell you what, if somebody's going to get a word in edgewise in that meeting, and it's not in the way that Joe wants the conversation to go, they're going to have a hard time. And he knows what we need. He knows that we need minimum negotiated cash trade. He knows that your cow-calf producers and your backgrounders need it even more than your cattle feeders do. And he knows that we are absolutely screwed if we don't get something done here. And by we, I mean the entire cattle industry, all the way down to your sale barns, your feed stores, your rural schools, your rural grocery stores and hardware stores, everybody. Because I tell you what, they're just going to take us completely out. But you're talking to several guys. I've probably had more messages this week than I've ever had. I talked to a guy in the Midwest there that backgrounds some cattle. He was going into a lot that both backgrounds and feeds cattle out, and all of a sudden there was available space because with corn getting so high, this small feeder backgrounder, he had some guys just decide that they're just going to turn those cattle out. They had some cattle in there, not real heavy, weighing in the sixes and maybe the low sevens, that they had decided that they were going to feed out. But when they look at these feed prices, they said, you know what, I can find a place for those cattle to graze or eat hay and put on another 300 or 400 pounds. I'm not going to pay those feed costs. So those cattle, you know, that were unloaded, they shut the gate. They thought they wouldn't open that gate again until they were finished. They ended up turning those cattle out. We're going to see a lot more of that. not going to be very many places, and then it's dry everywhere. But this happened to be up in the Missouri, Iowa region there, over there towards Illinois a little bit, and they do have some grazing there, and they do have a lot of cheap hay. So that's some of the stuff that's going on. I talked to another guy up in the Midwest that said he sold some cattle at the top of the market on Tuesday, and then maybe got a pinch more than some of the other guys because he sold them with time. You know, they could pick them up maybe 2 or 3 weeks out. But they called on Wednesday and said, hey, we need those cattle Friday. Hard to believe there, because they're so full and they just can't stand any cattle, don't need any cattle, and just doing you guys a favor taking them off your hands at a lower price. Give me a break. Let's look at the board for Wednesday. June live cattle futures have now dropped $13 in the last 18 sessions or so, but they were higher on Wednesday, up $1.40 at 114.42. August was up $1.10 at 117.72. Going out from there on your back months, and live cattle were up $1.35 to $1.65. So just pretty decent gains all the way around on your live cattle pit. Why that happened, nobody knows. How about feeder cattle? May feeder cattle up $1.72, right in the face of higher corn again at 131.47. August was up $2.05 at 145.22. Go on your out fronts on your feeder cattle, they were up 165 to 220 higher. So, you know, just unbelievable how we just saw a reprieve all of a sudden, albeit it may just be for one day, but we don't know. You look at your corn Chicago Board of Trade futures. May was up 8.5 on Wednesday, closing at 753.25. Ouch. But look at new crop December, up 24.25 at 604.75. That's getting scary too. How about your fat cattle trade? We've pretty much done our trading for the week, although it's almost all been in the northern plains and the Midwest. But did have a little bit of trade there on Wednesday. Iowa about 900 head. So far for the week, 22,200 head. The only sales on Wednesday were at 117. That's lower than what they sold on Monday and Tuesday. Nebraska only 200 head, and 30,800 head for the week so far. Wednesday's sales were at 117.50 and 188. Kansas 1,200 head, 3,600 for the week. All of Wednesday's sales at 119. Texas and some of these southern plains sales were on the online auction. Texas 2,100 head, only 5,700 head for the week. So if we don't see significant trade later in the week, southern plains, 2 more little triggers hitting. And I don't know why NCBA doesn't just go ahead and fall in with some type of a mandatory regulatory fix to this at this meeting on Monday. They know it's coming. Quit fighting it, guys. You're just making an ass of yourself. Texas 2,100 head, 5,700 head for the week. Wednesday sales 118.50 to mostly 119. Colorado, no confirmed sales on Wednesday, 600 head for the week so far. Box beef cutout values posting new highs again. Choice cuts on Wednesday afternoon, 304.78 up 356. Select 286.18 up 227. Wow. Slaughter 355,000 through Wednesday. That's 3,000 less than last week. 105,000 more than the same week a year ago. What else is going on? Got 2 videos that you can view on dvauction.com, or you can go to the particular video sale. Primetime livestock video, that's through Joplin Regional Stockyards, will be at 1 o'clock Central. They've got several nice posts on there of consignments of cattle. And you can look at those lots before the sale, kind of browse through them, look at the videos and see what you like. But they're having that sale. It's going to be there at the stockyards, 1 o'clock Central. You can go on to primetimelivestockthere.com or go on to dvauction.com and get on the same console. Earlier in the day on Thursday, starting this morning here, pretty good time, Western Video Market out of Cottonwood, California. back at the old Shasta sale, where they're not having live sales there anymore, but they're still having Western Video Markets. The bulk of their sales are still being held there in Cottonwood. Now that starts at either 9 Pacific or 11 o'clock Central, and they've got 23,000 head of cattle on offer, including 6,000 yearlings from Las Goita cattle, and that's out of Chowchilla, California, and I might have butchered those all to pieces, but kind of interesting names and towns there. But these cattle are all natural yearlings, 6,000 of them. So if you're looking for them, they're going to be selling not too far off the bat when they get started there at wvmcattle.com or at dvauction.com, and look up your Western Video Market video sale there. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV Auction ended the day on Wednesday at 130, 135. That was down $1.32. And I tell you what, this cash index levels are just falling so fast. 3 weeks ago, your real-time index was 144.26. It's fallen nearly $13. Guys, that's more than $100 per head on an 800-pound steer that we've lost in 3 weeks. Tell you what, that's enough to take people out. And I told you on the last visit how bad this was, and I didn't want this visit to be quite so depressing. But tell you what, you take $100 a head away from people, that gets in their knickers pretty fast. How about some of your big sales on Wednesday? OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 6,000 head there altogether. Feeder steers, $2 to $5 lower. Feeder heifers, $3 to $4 lower. Just because the board's up for one day, you can't turn your cash market around that quick. You know, I've told you guys a lot of times, give me 40 acres and I'll turn this cash market around. But they can just juke and jive that board any way they want to, and it's all at the mercy of the algorithms and the floor traders there. But still sharp losses, just like we've seen in every other sale barn this week in El Reno. Calves on Tuesday had a lower undertone, but a not very good test there. How about Dodge City, Kansas? Winter livestock, 2,700 head, $2 to $7 lower. And then I had some thin quotes from both Dodge City and El Reno that really topped the market. And if you offer some calves up in a thin condition, empty way up, or with programs on them, you're going to get a premium, guys. That doesn't matter if your market's down or not. But at Dodge City, winter livestock, they sold 98 head of thin-fleshed 562-pound steers at $170, $135. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, they sold 80 head of thin-fleshed 823-pound steers at $140, $250. That's about the highest quote we've seen for the last couple of weeks here on some cattle weighing that far into the eights. How about east of the Mississippi? How about Russell County Stockyards, Russell Springs, Kentucky, on some program cattle there? 135 head of them weighed 805 through the ring in Russell Springs, Kentucky, 136.95. I tell you, I like them Kentucky guys. They squeeze every drop out of them cattle when they put them through the ring. But the best quote that I saw anywhere, your Zach Tran top quote from the day, come out of St. Joe Stockyards, not quite dead yet, got a few more weeks there, and if you want to go to the last sale at the last stockyards ever, I'm talking real terminal river market stockyard, it's going to be May the 19th. Not expecting a big run, but may have a big run of spectators, and I'm looking forward to going up there. Would not miss that for the world. But at St. Joe this Wednesday, they sold a big long string of cattle from the Balhay family, 247 steers, weighed 789, top quality, average condition and weigh up, 139 and a quarter. 158 head of heifers, weighed 714, 132.85. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.